The brain is, without a doubt, the most fascinating part of our bodies. It's like the untapped depths of the ocean, a gray, squishy sponge in our skulls that can still blow our minds with its mysteries. Even the word mind sparks debate. It can be seen as both a physical and a metaphysical entity. This debate stretches back to the Greeks, where thinkers like Plato argued that the mind is linked to the soul, coming from a pure and eternal world. But what's even more interesting is that you have the ability to rewire your own mind. Think of your brain like a sprawling city with roads and highways. Learning something new, like riding a bike, is like building a new road. The more you practice, the smoother and faster that road gets. But here's the kicker. Your brain can change those roads, add new ones, or even tear down old ones that are no longer useful. This process is known as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's remarkable ability to change, adapt, and reorganize itself in response to new experiences, learning, and environmental factors. It challenges the outdated belief that our brains are fixed, unchangeable entities. From birth to about age 25, our brains learn and rewire themselves passively, simply through exposure to new information. But after that, we need to be more intentional in our pursuit of knowledge and experiences if we want to reshape our neural pathways. Kids' brains in particular are like sponges, soaking up everything around them and building new connections. As adults, we can still change our minds, but it takes effort, dedication, and a willingness to step out of our comfort zones. And here's where it gets even deeper. Our consciousness, like a big, mysterious blurb, plays a crucial role in this process. It's not just neurons and synapses. It's how we perceive the world and how our experiences shape the very fabric of our minds. When you start to grasp the idea of neuroplasticity, you realize that your brain is constantly evolving based on your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Every repetition of a thought or emotion reinforces a neural pathway, and each new thought begins to create a new way of being. Over time, these small shifts add up, changing the way your brain works. The Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius weren't just spouting wisdom. They understood that the mind is adaptable, resilient, and capable of growth. They didn't invent resilience. They just knew that the mind has this hidden power to adapt, to change, and to grow. Every time you handle a tough situation with calmness and grace, your brain is like, "Oh, we're doing this now?" and starts building a pathway for it. That's neuroplasticity at work. Stoicism teaches us to engage in intentional acts, face hardship head-on, and confront the truths of life, no matter how tough they are. It encourages practices like journaling, visualizing the worst conditions before they happen, and maintaining a sense of detachment from outcomes. These practices don't just build character, they physically reshape the brain. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and emotional regulation, grows stronger, while the amygdala, which governs emotional reactivity, becomes less reactive. The hippocampus, essential for memory, expands with new learning experiences. A Stoic mindset would be, well, rejection happens. What can I control? My effort to keep applying. And as you do that, your brain learns to see rejection not as a giant, soul-crushing defeat, but as just another part of the process. Neuroplasticity helps those new pathways get stronger, and suddenly, you're handling setbacks much better. This synergy between Stoicism and neuroplasticity is powerful. When you adopt a Stoic mindset and focus on what you can control, you're training your brain to respond more calmly to challenges. Neuroplasticity then kicks in, solidifying these new habits and ways of thinking. It's like you're forging a new path through the mental city of your brain, and every time you walk that path, it becomes a little clearer and easier to navigate. Consider the Stoic practice of meditatio malorum, or imagining potential misfortunes. It's exposing yourself to controlled discomfort, which makes real-life challenges less daunting. The brain, through a process called cognitive restructuring, learns to handle stress better each time. This is the science behind the mental resilience that Stoicism advocates. Training for a marathon. Every time you push through a bit more discomfort, your brain adapts, creating stronger networks for handling similar stress in the future. And it's not just theoretical. London taxi drivers, for example, have larger hippocampi, the part of the brain associated with spatial memory, because they're constantly learning new routes through the city. It's a perfect example of how the brain changes based on our experiences. But you don't have to be a taxi driver or a monk to experience these changes. It also happens when we process trauma, stress, or even boredom. When we're exposed to trauma and react in resilience, our brains adapt to protect us, creating helpful shortcuts like anxiety or hypervigilance. And when we handle life more boldly and prepared, your mind supports you as you become tougher. So, what does all this mean? It means that anyone can train themselves to grow beyond their perceived limits. Whether you're trying to move on, heal from trauma, or face the pain of rejection, understanding neuroplasticity and embracing a growth mindset can change your reality. The Stoic perspective, with its focus on internal growth and resilience, becomes a guide, while neuroplasticity provides the biological mechanism for change. In a way, neuroplasticity is the ultimate life hack. It's not a quick fix or an easy answer, but it's the most powerful tool you have. It's the realization that you're not confined by the mental patterns you've inherited or the habits you've developed over the years. It's understanding that you can rewrite your own narrative, that your story is not set in stone, but is a dynamic, evolving process. With every new skill, every new habit, and every moment of mindfulness, you're rewriting the script of your life, word by word, neuron by neuron, and in the end, neuroplasticity isn't just about the brain. It's about the mind, that big, blurry, mysterious thing that shifts and adapts with every new experience. Richard Davidson, Marcus Aurelius, and Carol Dweck didn't possess some magical ability. They simply understood how the mind and brain work together. The more practice, the easier that new path becomes to follow, and over time, the old panic highway becomes overgrown and unused. It's redirecting mental traffic from chaos to calm, one thought at a time. And that's the secret. Our ability to rewire our brains, to change the roads in our mental city, and to become more resilient, disciplined, and intelligent every single day. It's not just science. It's the power of being human. For every ounce of resilience you act on, you become tougher and tougher every day, which is why you should take every advice from this channel seriously. We help you reach your fullest potential through proven and realistic steps, one video at a time.